Find out what is happening at the library, from virtual programming to fun new services. Hear recommendations on books, movies, TV shows, and so much more. This is In the Stacks at Mustang Library. Hello and welcome to In the Stacks. Today I wanted to share with you some exciting news. Scottsdale Public Library has a new virtual library branch. Yes, you heard that right. Let's check it out. Welcome to Cactus, Scottsdale's virtual library branch. This is where you can easily find digital library services, accessible always. It is one-stop shopping for all your virtual needs. Want to check out our new and upcoming virtual programs? Click the link to watch programs live or watch when it is convenient for you. Have a random question you need an answer to? Do you need help with the library service or a question about what to read next? Ask us, we're here to help. Fill out an Ask a Librarian form in just the click of a button. Library cards. Do you need a library card? Or perhaps need to renew your registration? We can do that online. E-materials. Borrow books, audiobooks, magazines, newspapers, or stream movies, music, or TV shows all from your digital device. Learning and research. From car repair to getting your GED to photography classes and more. All you need is your library card to get started with all of our online databases. I also want to highlight a brand new service we have started at Scottsdale Public Library, Bookmates Junior. Bookmates Junior is a service for our patrons who would like a surprise selection of children's books based on a specific topic or theme. Answer a few questions about what you're looking for and we'll select up to 10 books to put on hold for you to pick up at your library, curbside, or drive-through window. All you need to do is fill out a form telling us what you're looking for. You can pick between fiction, nonfiction, or perhaps a little bit of each. You can also pick the type of book. Picture books, learn to read books, chapter books, and more. Maybe you just want anything and everything. We've got you covered. You can reserve as little as 3 and as many as 10 items in one order. After you fill out the form, staff will begin scouring the shelves looking for your books, and then we'll put them on hold for you to pick up. It's that easy. And coming soon, Bookmates. Looking for teen or adult book recommendations? Bookmates can help. More details coming soon.
Hello, I'm Louisa, and here we are at the end of a very exciting year. What a great time to talk about some of the books that I enjoyed in 2020. All of these are available at the Scottsdale Public Library, too. For adults, I have to highly recommend Cactus League by Emily Nimmins. It is actually spring training at the brand new Salt River Fields, and you get to meet a cast of characters that runs the gamut from their star picture outfielder who has a gambling addiction to the batting coach who's kind of toward the end of his career. And then there's women of a certain age who think these handsome ball players are what they want for their future lovers or husbands. So it's quite a great one. That's Cactus League by Emily Nimmins. Lots of local color. You'll recognize some of the locations that the author describes, and she even tips in a bit of Arizona ancient history and archaeology for good measure. For teens, there's a wonderful book called Jane Anonymous, and that's by Lori Farias-Delars. Imagine the movie Room come to book form, where a 17-year-old girl is kidnapped by this man, Jane, and she ends up in a hidden room where all she has is just the basics of life. There's a bed, a cabinet, a bathroom, and only this one person to kind of give her food and treat her for good or ill. It's amazing. So the book is fascinating the way that it skips between then when Jane is in that kidnap situation and now when she's managed to escape. But that's almost the most interesting thing because she's trying to put her life back together with her family and friends struggling to see what they can do to help her. So that's Jane Anonymous. I really recommend that one. For our chapter book readers, there's a wonderful new series by Renee Watson. It's the first one in the series is Ways to Make Sunshine. We meet Ryan, who's a 21st century version of Ramona Quimby. All of us know that great series. She is amazing. Her life is far from perfect. The family is having to move to a new house. Money is tight because the Papa is starting a new job, and she has a troublesome older brother. Her mother loves her, but she really feels like nobody truly understands her. But the coolest part about it is her positive outlook, and she tries to be kind in everything that she does. So that's Ways to Make Sunshine. I highly recommend it for our chapter book readers, and personally, I can't wait to read the rest of the series. Then moving on to our picture book crowd, there's some really great books out there. Two of them are Don't Worry, Little Crab by Chris Halton. Hope I said that right. He is so great. That author is great for his humorous tales. This one is just wonderful about very big crab and little crab who decide they're going to go to the ocean. So they leave their tide pool, which is comfortable and safe, to head for those gigantic waves. Little crab is, of course, very timid about it. He's been afraid of all that, the water coming at him and ever increasing waves, but he gains his courage. They get into the water and they meet some wonderful new friends in a glorious coral reef. So that's a wonderful one that's for all ages, and especially for folks that are saying, hey, go ahead, try it. It's going to be fine. The last one is Where's Baby by Ann Hunter. This is a wonderful book about Papa Fox who is missing Baby Fox. And that's essentially a small hide and seek tale, which the children will just love because you can see Baby Fox hiding behind things in the picture. So the young children are going to love to find it. It's a simple story, but very loving, about a papa trying to find his baby and Mama Fox trying to help solve that problem. So those are two great stories that I highly recommend. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you at the library.
Hi, I'm Laura. I'm here at Mustang, sitting outside on the adult patio on our sea turtle bench, here to share with you my favorite book of 2020, which is The Deserter, written by Nelson DeMille and his son, Alex DeMille. And here's what The Deserter is about. Two Army investigators on the hunt in Venezuela for an Army deserter who might know too much about a secret Pentagon operation. When Captain Kyle Mercer of the Army's elite Delta Force disappeared from his post in Afghanistan, a video released by his Taliban captors had made international headlines. But circumstances were murky. Did Mercer desert before he was captured? That a second video sent to Mercer's Army commanders leaves no doubt. The trained assassin and keeper of classified Army intelligence has willfully disappeared. When Mercer is spotted a year later in Caracas, Venezuela, by an old Army buddy, top military brass tasked Scott Brody and Maggie Taylor of the Criminal Investigation Division to fly to Venezuela and bring Mercer back to America, dead or alive. And this is how the story begins. I had the pleasure of meeting Nelson and his son at the end of 2019 at a book signing in Connecticut. And I have to say, for those of you that have ever read his books, he is as funny in person as he is in his stories. A couple fun facts about him too. He still does all his writing by hand on legal pads. He has an office in Long Island that is super tiny. He said there is a desk, a coffee pot, a stack of all of his best books, he said, of course, and stacks of legal pads, and that's all he has. I think now he put a fax in there because when he actually wrote this story with his son, he did everything by hand and his son typed everything. Another fun fact about this story is that neither one of them worked together in the same room. His son was at a different office completely, so when the father would finish something on the legal pad, he would have it faxed over to his son would write his thoughts, and he would scan and email it back, and the son would type his ideas, and he would scan and email them back over to his father. So kind of a fun story. Also, he's a real big researcher for his books. His stories are a lot about military. He has a very strong military background. He has, while he works, there's a library across the street from him. He always has employees that he has sitting in the library so that he can call and say, hey, I need you to research this. Hey, I need you to research that. So they're there full time for him as he's doing his research. He does a book about every 18 months, so I try to read them slow because I love them all, and I know that it will be almost 2 more years before I see another book of his.
Hi, I'm Jennifer at Mustang Library, and I wanted to talk to you about a couple of books I read last year that I really enjoyed, and I'd like to recommend them to you. First one is He Started It by Samantha Downing. A great book. You can tell by the cover. You got a car, you've got some flames, you've got a nice dressed woman with a shovel, so you know it's going to be an interesting book. I'm actually going to read you the jacket blurb because it really sums it up well. Beth, Portia, and Eddie Morgan haven't all been together in years, and for very good reasons. We'll get to those later. But when their wealthy grandfather dies and leaves a cryptic final message in his wake, the siblings and the respective partners must come together for a cross-country road trip to fulfill his final wish and, more importantly, secure their inheritance. But time with your family can be tough. It is for everyone. It's even harder when you're all keeping secrets and trying to forget a memory, a missing person, an act of revenge, the man in the black truck who won't stop following your car, and especially when at least one of you is a killer and there's a body in the trunk, just to name a few reasons. But money is a powerful motivator. It is for everyone. So that tells you right now it's going to be a wild ride. You've got 3 siblings, 2 spouses on a road trip. They must complete this road trip. They cannot end up in jail, and they cannot deviate from the road trip in any way, or they won't get their inheritance. They're basically following a road trip their grandfather took them on 20 years ago when their parents were having marital difficulties. They've got to go to all the stops that they went along the way. Things are happening. A diary shows up. We don't know who wrote it, but it's giving us some clues. Along the way, there's a truck that might be following them, might not be. Suddenly, no one knows who to trust. Does the wife trust her husband? The husband trust his wife? Sister-in-law? Brother? Nobody knows. There are text messages going back and forth in the car. We don't know who to trust. It just gets stranger and stranger as it goes along, until we finally get to the end where things are revealed. And even I was like, usually I can figure out pretty close to what's going on. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. The end took me away. I was like, that's excellent. I'd almost like to see a sequel out of this one. It really was very good. It's not something I would normally pick up, but I'm really glad I did. So I hope other people will try it and will enjoy it as much as I did. The second book I'd like to talk to you about is a charming little book called Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. This is a very quirky little book. It may not be for everyone, but most of the people I know who have read it have loved it. Kevin Wilson is the author of The Family Fang, which was also made into a movie, as well as Perfect Little World and a couple of collections of short stories. He apparently wrote this book in about 10 days because the story had been in his head for so long. He knew he had to write it. It tells the story of 2 friends, Lillian and Madison, who were friends in high school. Something happened, their friendship fell out. Years later, Madison is married to a man running for Senate and has 2 stepchildren. She reaches out to Lillian to see if she could help her take care of the stepchildren, sort of as a nanny. Lillian's at loose ends. She's got nothing better to do, really. Her life has not gone the way she hoped. So she says, okay, sure. There's just one little catch. The kids, when they get angry, tend to burst into flames. You know, not totally and wholly, but, you know, little flames all over their bodies. And it's a little bit of a problem. So Lillian goes out for the summer to help take care of these kids. And as it, goes through, they become very close, and she becomes to really care for these children. And so by the end of the book, you're kind of left with what makes a family? What doesn't make a family? And the author has done some interviews where he talked about writing books where he wants to write about the kids who are left out, who might not have the best parents, who aren't getting necessarily the care they need. And in this charming little book, he did that, but he did it very beautifully. Some of the reviews were 50-50. People loved it or they hated it. I think it was absolutely charming and wonderful, and again, by the end, I loved Lillian, and I loved how she took care of the kids, and I loved the family they made. So if you want something, it's a quick read. If you want something short and quirky and funny, definitely try this one. I think you'd enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Madeleine. I'm here to talk today about a show I've really enjoyed during 2020, Bob's Burgers. It features the Belcher family, Bob, Linda, and their kids, Tina, Gina, and Louise. It features their adventures running a burger shop in a quirky seaside town. It's funny, silly, escapist comedy. It's perfect for fans of The Simpsons and Family Guy and other adult animated sitcoms. We have 11 seasons in our collection, but you could come in and out any episode, and plenty of episodes and content to enjoy. So check it out today.
Hello, my name is Halton, and here are a few of my favorite reads from 2020.
Tiny Habits by B.J. Fogg. Fogg is a behavioral scientist at Stanford University who regularly coaches people through his process, behavior design, which breaks down elements of a behavior so that you can select the actions and cues that work best for you. Simplicity changes behavior, he says. If you're looking to change any habits in 2021, or, like me, just love to pick up any personal development book, this is a very simple, clear, and action-oriented book that helps you transform your life one tiny habit at a time. Uncanny Valley is a memoir by Anna Wiener and a rare and clever perspective from the beginning of the Silicon Valley tech boom. As a young millennial scraping by in New York City publishing, Wiener decides to find a job to pay the bills and lands in customer support at a tech company in California. There are stories of comical self-importance, superficial culture, famous tech companies and CEOs, money, and a lack of diversity that predictably causes issues. She's at times caught fully in the glamour of the moment, and at other times provides a cool cynicism, which leaves the reader free to decide how best to judge the tech culture. All Systems Red by Martha Wells was a recommendation I got from several staff members, and in case I'm not the only one who hasn't heard of the Murderbot Diaries, I'm passing along the recommendation. Chapter 1 begins. I could have become a mass murderer after I hacked my governor module, but then I realized I could access the combined feed of entertainment channels carried by the company's satellites. It's been well over 35,000 hours since then, with still not much murdering, but probably, I don't know, a little under 35,000 hours of movies, serials, books, plays, and music consumed. As a heartless killing machine, I was a terrible failure. In case you're worried, there's plenty of action and murder, but also a narrative of the stupidity and sentiment that comes with being human. All Systems Red is the first of 5 books in the Murderbot series. These books are fun, fast, and were the perfect antidote for 2020, and will be just as irresistible to consume in 2021. Cersei by Madeleine Miller. Miller takes the character of the witch Cersei, famous from the Odyssey, and retells her story. As a lesser nymph with no discernible talent, it takes her trials, journeys, tribulations, and interactions with both gods and men to shape her into the fearsome, practiced, and wise sorceress she becomes. I listened to the e-audiobook, and like traditional Greek mythological narratives, it works really well orally. If you're looking for something complex, inspiring, and beautifully written, check it out and the other titles mentioned here at the library.
And that's a wrap on this week's edition of In the Stacks. Tune in next Tuesday at 1 p.m. for Get Lit at Civic Center Library. We'll be back again in 2 weeks to talk about books and more at Mustang Library. Thanks for watching.